It took a while. It was, multiple trips to the pediatrician for him not making milestones. And we just kept getting told he's the second born, he's a boy, it's okay. And it was mostly because he wasn't walking yet. He hadn't sat up by himself on it. I think his first birthday, he was still falling over for his picture. So I'm a physician, so coming from my background, I knew there wasn't something that we just should ignore. So I pushed for a second pediatrician who got us a neurologist who eventually did all of the genetic screening, and that's when we found out.
For me, not having a background in the medical field, I remember thinking, he may be autistic. He may have some type of comprehension or intellectual delay. That's okay. We could work around that. We can deal with it.
I was at the gym, actually, and I was in between sets, checked my email, and I got a notification that his lab results were ready. And so for me, when I opened it up and I saw 47XY, I'm like, that's not right.
And then when she came home that day from the gym, I thought a family member passed away. She was distraught, and then she explained it to me, and I was very much on that road of we're gonna solve it, we're gonna find a solution, we're gonna make things happen. And then we did stay away from the Alliance for a little bit because, I didn't realize how vast the spectrum was. So we took a little bit of a break, did some further analysis, got him into therapy immediately, and that early intervention made a big difference. And then slowly but surely started getting introduced to the Alliance, and that's where our story starts.
All the research you read, they tell you like your kid may never walk, may never talk, and all these things. I'm like, just shattered your idea of what your little boy is going to be able to do, And then that was in August. He turned 2 in September, and I think by late October he started walking on his own. And so just to see that was, I think, a big relief of like, okay, he could do more than they're labeling him as. And I think that was a big relief for me, in that I don't know what he's actually going to be capable of. So I took that limit away, which was really nice. And then when we went into the Alliance page more, it was a little bit more easy to, digest everything. The whole process of grief, everyone thinks or learns that it's stepwise. You go through this and this and this, and I find it more of a cycle with almost like a dream catcher, with the things in between. And some days you feel great, and then other days you're right back to anger, but you don't get over it. Like, I thought I was fine and past it, and then one event happens at a family party, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm there again. And it just time, and I think giving yourself grace and that it's okay to go through that process.
I think one big thing that I've learned is heartbreak, and then the ability for your heart to be repaired through it. Amber, she experienced it much earlier than I did as far as grief, and because she would tell me, I feel like we lost our son when we first found out, and I was like, but he's right there, I didn't get it. But then the more I thought about it, it was like, oh, I really might not ever be able to play catch with my son, or there's a very big chance, if not a for sure chance, that I'll never be able to have a conversation about girls and how to properly respect women. And once I started thinking about those things and having like certain ideas of the future kind of shattered, then they would get restructured in a different way. Because now that he's been growing up a little bit and he's showing us different things, he's showing us his way of how he loves us, and his affection is ridiculous. That it's really kind of healed me in a different way. As soon as we found out about everything and we had to kind of restructure our lives, it was like, okay, there's certain things that I do that I'm not going to be able to do anymore, and that's okay, because there's a very big and good reason for it.
I think kind of joint too, because I think this is important for relationships, is it's really brought us a lot closer. Our ability to communicate and to have grace for one another. If I'm having a really hard day, he's like, hey, you know what? Do what you gotta do. I got the kids, takes care of them. Or just to recognize, like, I'm really upset about something with Jojo today and I can't, process it. And he comes up and comforts and vice versa. And I think that like our communication and ability in that sense has been really strong, because this can easily challenge any relationship, marriage, anything like that. I think for me, it's taught me patience, which is a big one. Like, especially with kiddos, and you can get frustrated when they don't listen and things like that. But I think just knowing that he can't right now, he doesn't understand, and teaching me that kind of patience, and that just to slow down and take everything as a moment, just to really appreciate every little thing he is able to do, has been kind of just eye-opening, and really thankful for that. And I see the positive in my daughter in that she is so very compassionate. At 5 years old, she's like his little protector. She like protects them at the park. Little kids try to come up and play with them. They don't know. And so she'll go up and she's like, oh, this is my brother. He doesn't know anything. He can't play. And so then she'll sit and play with him instead. And when we first found out about him that he would never walk, would never talk, all these things, and think not to put that cap on him and just let's see what happens. Like, what can he do? And I mean, the other day I was playing peekaboo with him and I did it like 4 or 5 times, and then he looks at me, he goes, peekaboo! And now it's his favorite game. And for the last few days, we have joint rooms right now with my parents, and he goes in and out of the door yelling peekaboo at both of us. And so I was told he'd never talk, and now he's not only mimicking but doing it on his own and laughing and telling jokes. And you know, he'll babble and then he'll look at you and he'll laugh right after him. Like, you definitely just told me a joke. And so I think, you know, when I thought maybe he'd never say mama, that he could say peekaboo, and I'm okay with that.